Hello, 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 and welcome to the Drag Race podcast here on RHAP, We Know Reality TV. Today we're going to be talking about episode 10 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 17. It was a roast to remember. Oh my gosh, there is so much to get into, so much to talk about from this episode. Who would have thought that this would be so drama-filled? This cast just continues to deliver when it comes to top-tier reality TV. And I need help when it comes to going through everything. So let me welcome in our wonderful panel. First, you know him. It is Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you?
I'm great. I'm having such a good time. I feel like I've said that at the top of every show this season, but it's so true. These queens they're so dramatic and they're so easy to get a rise out of. They're so everyone is vying for that crown. It's just been such a good time. I'm having a great time.
It really is. And Beth is out traveling this week, but don't worry, we have an absolutely fantastic guest. You have heard them comment on Drag Race before. An expert. Oh, you looking around?
Where's the guest?
The one, the only, Sugar Free. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. What's up, y'all? Sugar Free here, diabetic fairy, drag queen of LA. Let's get into it. This season's insane. You said it best, Aman. Everyone is just triggered on this season every 5 seconds, and that's the best reality TV. Is it not?
Yeah,
so good. Everyone's petty. Everyone has an axe to grind. Everyone has something with at least one of the other queens. Nobody is exempt this season. They were saying, a few episodes ago that there was this Kumbaya crowd. I'm like, where? Because I have not heard not one single verse of Kumbaya this whole season. Not one time.
And it's been all season. The people calling other people Kumbaya girls are the least Kumbaya themselves, right. Going crazy for anything thrown their way.
I live for it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into everything. But first, Sugar Free, I wanted to get your overall opinion on the season so far. I mean, I know you hit on that already with this being such a crazy reality TV cast, but what are some other feelings and thoughts that you've had about the season as a whole?
Yeah, I would say I'm enjoying the season. I think it's hard to let yourself enjoy modern seasons of shows that you treasured for over a decade, but it's very easy to jump into the cynical camp of it's not the same. It's not the same. No, but I like this produced television show in front of me. I think the challenges have been great. The Rusical is one of the best written Rusicals they have ever done in terms of nailing source material. The mapping over a chorus line was just amazing. And I was not on a pod this week, but the fact that Acacia basically got Donna McKechnie's role in a chorus line, which is supposed to be this veteran dancer who's no, I don't care that I've been through this before. I need it. I want it. And then gave none of that hunger or fire at all. Nothing. And you know who knows a chorus line well enough and who would have killed that role for that reason? Susie 2. You know who didn't say none of that to Acacia when she lost that role? Susie 2. So it's just the contestants are producing good stuff. I feel like the show is producing good challenges for the contestants. I'm entertained. I'm really entertained. Also, Anya, I had completely written off from just the Meet the Queens. I thought she would be a good time gal here for fun, and then just to demolish it every week, no matter what it is. It's giving me, for me, a very Trinity Taylor season 9 arc. How everyone sort of just didn't think much of her before, and then it's just been boom, 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 boom. Cannot fault anything.
We can't get
just
over
having a good time with the arts.
That's such a good point though, because I feel like the queens are, as self-admittedly, I mean, Corey King was talking about it last week when she was at Roscoe's about how she was producing. She was trying to get shit going between some of her sisters, and she was, trying to get a rise out of people. And I like that, and I like that they're open about it, because I feel like it's sort of like Survivor. It's there are so many big fans that make it onto the show now, and they're trying to outsmart the producers, and now the producers have to try to outsmart the ones that are trying to outsmart them. I'm yes, let's just keep upping the ante. Let's think if the girls have good ideas, then producers need to bring your shit. I'm here for it. This is going to be, if this trends upward in the way that I would like it to, we're going to be set for Drag Race for a while, okay? Because we thought, there's a little fatigue. There's a lot of shit
my
for Drag
gosh.
Race out there. There's a lot of shit out there. But, this season in particular, the fatigue is not here. I'm having a great time.
Well, and even the queens that don't think they're producing, like in this episode with Jules, are producing. Who would have thought that Jules' decision in terms of the running order for the villains roast was caused so much chaos? But we got to talk about the headline. So obviously the Maxi Challenge was the villains roast this week. And Aman, I mean, what would you say the headline was from this episode? What was like the main takeaway for you?
I think Ariete versus Jules is definitely my Roman Empire this episode, because blatantly stealing jokes, Jules not even knowing what to do with it, and then the eventual person that ends up going home at the end of it after all of that is just like, all right, you did your big one and you missed.
Oh yeah, I mean, sugar free. How would you feel if a queen just blatantly stole jokes, performed them right before you too? It's not like Jules had the time to kind of sit and be like, oh shit, like, how do I drop these jokes? How do I pivot? She pretty much just had to go on and did them again.
My brain would go back to the workroom and how Ariete was making me feel bad for probably an hour or two of just guilt tripping over this thing that Jules did to her, only for her to do something much shittier back in a day ago before this fight happened. I'm like, Ariete, you do not have emotional intelligence. I'm so sorry, mama, but it is losing your scalp. Bye-bye. It is gone. It is flying away. If I was Jules in that moment, I would be going through everything in my head to come up with a roast back, being like, I'm so sorry you stole my jokes. You're still not stealing this competition. Ooh, I'm so sorry you stole my jokes. Get Ari ready to lip sync. Like, there's just anything to acknowledge it, because you will look so much cooler, Jules. I don't know why Jules didn't say anything. She should have.
That's what I thought. I thought she was either going to drop the jokes, because depending on how many, I mean, at least from a confessional, I believe Ariete said 2, that she had stolen 2. So whether or not Jules felt that her set was strong enough that she could have dropped the 2, or exactly what you said, which is address it, say, you stole my jokes, and then something about, but I'm going to deliver them better. Or so at least I don't stumble over my words, or, some clap back to just acknowledge the situation, because the judges talk about this, that you can be flopping, but as long as you kind of acknowledge it and bring us on the journey with you, that can maybe not put you in the top, but at least it could salvage what would ultimately be way worse. So I was kind of expecting something like that, but also, to be sitting in that situation, it just must be I would just be a deer in headlights almost as well, just trying to figure out how to react to what is going on around me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't expect in that moment for the strategy competition show aspect to pop up. I'll be honest. I would just be focused on performance, not the meta game happening that Ariete conjured out of nowhere.
I know, it's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we had that. We had obviously the whole running order debacle, which ties into Ariete being pissed, which ultimately leads her to stealing the jokes. But also, and we alluded to this at the beginning of the show, but Lexi Love also being the queen that, asked specifically to be put last, but then is upset with Jules when she is put last, although that seems to be a consequence, Sugar Free, of being after Susie.
Mm-hmm. It seems like she was like, I want to go last, except don't put me anywhere near Susie. I don't remember her saying that out loud, though. So you mentioned, like, the headline was Jules versus Ariete. What about Lexi versus herself? Because that's also an equally loud battle happening all season.
I feel like a lot of people are starting to turn on her online, too, which I hate to see, because, like, I love Lexi, and she's clearly one of the mothers of the season at her young, ripe age of 34 years old. And so it's just like, she gets so into her head about everything, and it's like, girl, you asked to go last. That it's the closer. That means that it should not matter what order any of the other girls go in, because you are going to be the last thing that these judges get a chance to see. So just focus on what you got going on, and everything should be okay. Also, another subtitle to our headline: Michelle being the one to do the Maxi Challenge announcement. I really thought that was kind of cool because I haven't gotten a chance to watch Michelle host because she hosts for what? In Australia?
Down Under now.
Down Under.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of Down Under, so I don't really see what she looks like as a host, and I kind of got a little bit of a glimpse of it here. And I thought it was very interesting how she kind of stood exactly like RuPaul, does the hand clasp like RuPaul. I was like, okay, I see you. You're like living your little fantasy real quick. So I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, we had, I guess I would call it a mini challenge at the beginning of the episode where Michelle brought back the Badonkadonk tank. And this seemed to be just mainly for her cross promotion with her interview with Joey Nolfi, who's an EW writer. So that really seemed to be the main reason why this was happening at all in general. I did enjoy Butthole's comment about, I'm going to piss in this tank and make the girls drink it. That made me laugh. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a nothing burger, apart from getting to see Michelle really in her element hosting.
Yes.
I feel like production also just wanted to get one more use out of the tank. They're like, we built it.
I know, right?
Going to use
good money.
Water in it, like,
Yeah, we have to have it on a certain number of episodes in order for it to financially have been worth it to make the Badonkadonk tank happen. Yeah. Okay, I think, look, let's just go through the roast. Let's talk about each of the queens, talk about how we thought they did, their ultimate, result, whether or not that was fair. And we're going to kick things off with Anya. So Anya Nerve. And while we talk about the queen's performance in the roast, I actually do have the looks as well. So I think we'll just use that as a visual guide. And then we can also comment on, potentially, I didn't really feel like the looks were necessarily taken into consideration, but we can talk about that as well. So Aman, Anya Nerve, give me your thoughts on her. She ends up safe this week after being kind of one of our big comedy queens.
yeah. I thought she did okay. I kind of felt like she was doing double duty in that she was trying to be the host of the show and that she went first and then also sort of do some roasting. So to me, her thing felt really short to me. And I don't know if that's just editing wise. I'm sure that there was probably more that all of these queens had locked in, but we didn't get to see everything. So they kind of just went with her best bits. I thought the roasts were fine. The one for Candy, it's a roast, so you can't be too sensitive. Like, I'm not trying to be overly PC about any of these, but that one just kind of felt, I don't know, because I don't know.
The Tasmanian Devil one?
Tasmanian Devil.
We've heard
it before with I feel that's not the first time people have called her that or made fun of the way that she speaks. But I thought that was probably the best one out of all of them, and that one I was kind of like, ooh, I'm not sure I like that one too much. So I thought she was okay. I thought she definitely brought all of her charisma to the stage as she always does, which was what's going to land her in the safe zone. So I thought she was simply fine. I thought the placement was pretty appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Sugar Free, what do you think about Anya?
I think about the same. I think that the way you said it, Aman, the hosting side of it, she definitely it was very presentational. Everything she said, there was no levels necessarily. It was every punchline was yelled so everyone could hear it. And I'm like, I don't mind that. It helps carry the energy. But if the joke's not that funny, then I go, okay, you saved that joke less than you murdered it on the stage. And it felt like all of her jokes were delivered in a very similar cadence, which I don't mind, but I would have loved, like the one about Plain Jane, like just like your sister Corey, she is the most ugly, untalented, and it's like you can just have a little subtle moment, like just one little tiny little shady thing, just volumes and stuff. Yep. This look, I really love the concept for this look. I gotta say, I don't think this hair is right for it. It makes her look shorter, and there's something about the top being not that teased actually compared to how voluminous the rest of it is. So I don't know, it's giving me lion's mane, but she needs a touch up. And I also just don't like this necklace. It just looks strange here.
Yeah, it kind of chops her off.
And it does, she's got no neck, and then also because of the way that the shorts Yeah, they're shorts. The way that the shorts are cut, it really just closes all of that off, combined with like the wig. I totally agree with you. I really enjoyed, in terms of the roast, the cast of STD the Rusical. I thought that was very funny.
That was funny.
I noticed something interesting about the editing around her roast was she didn't get any music. Hers was just sort of silent with her delivering the jokes. And I think that was done on purpose to make us feel like she's going to be like she didn't do a really good job. So I was kind of battling that of, okay, wait, are these jokes as funny as the other queens? Because I'm being told that they're not as funny, but are they actually as funny? So I don't really know where I land on Anya. I think that she probably would not have won the challenge for me, but I could see a universe where they edit her maybe in that like third high placement slot, just because her charisma does carry so much. But I do hear what the two of you are saying, and I think that safe is probably a fair placement for her.
I could have put her in third high. She also had a couple of jokes in the workshop that were cut. Like she called Mistress Insulin. Love that.
Yeah.
And then the Make-A-Wish Foundation joke. Like I feel like she had good ones. They just weren't all shown. Yeah. We'll talk about that with someone else later.
Yeah.
I like the look. I like the concept of it. There are pieces of it that look a little crunchy, like a little unfinished, and I don't know if that's because that's sort of like what ripped jeans sort of are supposed to invoke anyway. But I just feel like I wanted the pull hiked up part of it to be a little bit more symmetrical, because it does look a little wonky, like going down her midsection. But other than that, I thought that the general concept for it was good. I think I guess I feel similarly to her last look for the Betsy Johnsey runway. Like I like the concept, it's a little editing that could have been implicated. But yeah.
And I like the hair color too. I kind of just wish it was like a slicked back, not a mohawk necessarily, but something to like keep that like build up going that the outfit is.
It looks like someone just took their hand and went like kind of just smushed down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like we could fix that. Let's move on. Let's talk about the queen of the episode,
man.
for good and bad reasons, perhaps. Ariete herself, which the look, I mean, oh my gosh, absolutely gorgeous, absolutely stunning, but not enough to keep her out of the bottom for, I would say, Aman, multiple reasons.
Oh my god. It was so... I literally had to look away from the TV. The silence, the asking the question of her own jokes, like she's like afraid of weight limits. Yeah. And then Miss Isabel Brooks and not Mistress Isabel. And Mistress is just like, sound it out, baby, sound it out. Oh, Ariete, no. It's just, and it's so funny to me because it kind of reminds me of like Jujubee's infamous quote of, I'm a funny bitch, but I don't write jokes. Because I feel like Ariete is a naturally sort of like cutting person. Like seeing her all season long, she's not afraid to give it to the queens in the confessionals. If you could just take that and then make it funny, like you could have been like the dark horse of this episode. But oh my god, was it a bomb? It was a bomb. In terms of the look, though, obviously, girly girl is always gonna give it to you. It doesn't really scream, because what is the name of her name?
Short shorts.
It doesn't really, like, I feel like because of the extravagance of the shoulder pieces, that's what I'm looking at. That's the centerpiece for me. I don't really see the shorts here. But I mean, does it look great? Obviously, yeah.
I feel exactly the same about the look. It's like it's short shorts. It's a hard category to make that the star of the look, but that is the requirement, and it's not the star of the look.
Yeah.
My favorite part of her roast was when she tries to say Mistress's name, gives up, moves on to someone else, and then like goes back to her. I'm like, what are you doing? And then the stealing of the jokes, and I think she chose 2 decent jokes to steal if she's gonna steal a joke, at least. but then just deliver them so strangely. I think a roast delivery is 90% of it. You can get away with a bad joke if it is said so perfectly, and saying anything perfectly seems to be not on Arrietty's skill set.
That's how I felt about the plain Jane sucking on batteries joke. I'm like, okay, there's something here. I think there's a way to deliver this in, maybe twist it a little bit in a way that is funny. But I think also she's just fighting an uphill battle at that point, because when you have the panel who's being roasted respond with like Mistress going, yikes, and you go learn the music, baby. I mean, there's almost no recovering from that. I would say for me, the best joke she told, and I don't know if you can call it a joke, but was when she said, and in conclusion, and Rue is just like laughing.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. Oh, so brutal. I mean, as soon as this train wreck was happening, it was okay. Someone would have to really royally mess up, or she would have to just crush the lip sync to not go home. I mean, it just felt like the writing was on the wall for her.
Yeah, it was so
Yikes.
bad. It was so bad. It like just the plain Jane one, like about sucking on batteries.
There's a better setup. You're right, Liana. There is a better setup. Is it like plain Jane? Last season, you were so shocking and antisocial. Is it because as a child you were just sucking on batteries? I don't know. There's a better setup. It's a funny enough punchline.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, because it's there's something there to it, but then when Plain just goes, you clocked it, sister. You clocked it, sister. Oh, it's not going anywhere.
Oh man. I love the roast because even the bad ones can be so funny. Like, you have your pheromones. Exactly. But this was just, again, I did this because I couldn't look. I felt so bad for her, but not really, because you stole your girl's jokes. So like, there you go, and you couldn't even deliver them right. Ooh, but Jules' face though. Ooh, I want that reaction gift. She was pissed.
Oh boy.
So Susie too did an interview yesterday with Joey Nolfi. I'm guessing that's the only reason she could do an interview mid-season.
Yeah.
But she said that Jules commented, I'm not going to reference Arrietty stealing my jokes in case she goes home, so it's not a part of her narrative, which is quite graceful for Jules, despite the fact that Arrietty was completely ungraceful to her back. So
yeah,
I think she should have been petty.
And talking about it, right? So it was very clearly going to be part of the narrative, but that is very kind of Jules. Shouldn't have done it, though.
Kindness during a roast.
I know, right? What? No. And it's a villain's roast, too. Of all the roasts, to be nice, the villain's roast is not the place to do that. Well, speaking of Jules, let's talk about her performance here. So, Sugar Free, what did you think? I mean, obviously she was dealing with the whole stolen joke debacle. It was a bit awkward, although I would say not as awkward as Arrietty's, although what could be?
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
She just was so in her head, and I think that she probably had good jokes written down as well, and just could not say them out loud. Fat jokes aside, I did like the idea of like making fun of a fat joke as a concept and then calling someone that is funny, but her wording of it was so bad. And she set it up like there was going to be more to it. It was like, fat jokes are tired, lazy, overdone. And she could have just been like, speaking of tired, lazy, overdone fat jokes, they're all right. Like, but she dropped all of those reads just to make a worse joke. I think she was just in her head and discombobulated. Maybe production flipped her cards around too, like they love to do. But no, it was not good. She gave us some pheromone sighs, which I appreciated. If you can't laugh at your own jokes in silence, it's not a roast. I like this look. I don't think it gives me Marie Antoinette. However, again, I just don't think the shorts are the star. I wish that there was something extra to the shorts besides being black, because as the season 17 stage dictates, if you wear black, it will be sucked up by the background and you won't be able to see it. So I just think it's a tiny bit of a miss, but I still like the look.
Yeah, I'm Michelle being upset about it being a little Marie Antoinette-ish. I was like, oh, nah, I don't really know about that. Give the girls a break. Like this could have been much more overtly Marie Antoinette. Just because it's French inspired doesn't mean that it's automatically Marie Antoinette. Again, short shorts. I guess this is just a really hard category for these girls. Are they short shorts? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's a little bit more shorty than Ariette's as well. But again, the shoulders are so big, the hair is so interesting that I'm not really looking at the bottom half of it. So, but it still looks great for sure. And I thought, again, yeah, I echo you, Sugar, about a lot of her stuff on the roast. It was just, brevity is the, what is it? Brevity is the soul of wit. Soul of, what is the, whatever it is. You get
Very breve.
As
Very
brevity. You have to take out the words. Just a good little setup, quick little transition, hit the punch. You don't need all of this. It's too much. And again, she's in her head because she's having to rework what she's going to say. Honestly, I think that it would have been funny to, like, as you mentioned earlier about like mentioning the fact that the jokes were stolen, and then making the same joke again, but giving it like a little bit of a twist. I thought that would have been the way to go, but I understand that it's hard to do that again.
Yeah, like say the joke again that she said, and then turn to Ariette and be like, "I did write a good joke, didn't I?"
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you turn the whole roast into an Ariette roast, essentially.
Or like that. Yeah, that's how you deliver a joke. I'm sure, and she's young too, so I can imagine just being so shocked and just sort of startled in that moment. That how do you handle? And maybe if there's a universe where Jules goes on way later and is not directly after Ariette, then maybe we see a slightly different performance. But it almost felt like Ariette was specifically upset because Jules was going to go after Ariette. So it's like, oh, this is what you think of me, that I'm going to do such a bad job, which sort of fueled the joke stealing situation. Which, if Ariette's going to steal jokes, I would go over to someone who I think is a comedy queen and steal their jokes. I don't know why steal hers. Jules specifically. Yeah, unless it was just pure pettiness. It just didn't matter if the jokes are funny or not. I'm just going to steal from Jules.
This is crazy. Jules is just getting robbed left and right. I mean, she got her jokes stolen. Anya stole her trimming. Like, girl can't hold on to shit in this season. Like, she can't have shit.
Yeah. Let's wrap up that whole joke stealing nonsense and get into our next queen. So, Lingerie, who does actually a good job here. Is this a low expectation, Sugar, or did we witness her put together a good joke set?
I think both. I think our expectations were low, and then she blew them so far out of the water. It was just, this is a roast energy where you don't have to be too theatrical about it, but it needs that little bit of a presentational flair to it to make it fun and engaging and not just saying mean things. But just that, like, there's a cadence that she carried. Like, how are you doing? Honestly, I don't care. It was very like, I don't know, it gave me like Woman at a Gala, the way that she spoke, if that makes sense at all. These jokes really just white themselves. That is such a well-written joke. I'm like, if she didn't write that, whoever she paid, good job. She earned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gave me shades of season 6. What's her name? Black Queen. What's her name?
Season 6?
From season 6?
Season 6. She oh my god, I love her. Why can't I remember her name? Trinity K. Bonet.
Trinity? Okay.
I was gonna say Trinity, but I was like, when did Trinity do well? Oh, she did do a stand-up challenge. You're right.
Challenge.
Yeah.
And they
the
were
stand-up one.
Her whole we know Trinity's narrative about being so down in the dumps the whole damn season. All of a sudden, she just turns it out in the comedy, and this gave me very much that because Lana has been struggling with the performance aspects of a lot of these challenges, and I think that having two people bomb essentially before you really revs up your engine, and you're just like, all right, well, I cannot be as bad as them. And so I think that she just came into it with a lot of confidence, and she sort of she just kept the ball rolling, keep the audience trusting you for this ride. I think that she really did a a good job of like making it presentational, but also a little dry so that it cuts a little deeper. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
the
think
look is, I hate it. I hate the look.
Yeah.
I hate it. I'm sorry. I understand that it's paying homage, and I have no problem with people paying homage, but I agree with Michelle 100%. If you're gonna do that, you have to drag it up. Add some stones, make it more dramatic. Like this literally just looks like no.
Or on UK6 last year, they did a Night of 1,000 Princess Dianas, and Lavoie, she came out in like just Princess Diana's tracksuit, like her famous tracksuit, and then a PA throws a bucket of water on her. So like when Princess Anna was caught in the rain, and so she's just running down the runway like soaking wet, and it's like if you're gonna do basic, there needs to be a theatricality of like, if you're giving realness, give me realness from everything that happened that day, and I don't get that from this look.
Right.
And the judges go in on her for that, right? And essentially it's like, okay, well, you're not going to win because the judges are not feeling the look, which I agree with all of those critiques. I would say for me, in terms of the roast, I really like when she came out and said, like, she set the tone for, some of you may know me as a model, as the judges, a disappointment. And to me, I'm like, okay, this is fantastic. Like, such a fantastic callback that just puts everything kind of on the right track to be able to do that first right out the gate. I was so impressed with her in terms of the roast, because I also think, and we've talked about this on this podcast, but the delivery can also do so much. So even if jokes maybe she had gotten from somewhere, I don't know, I'm not saying, but she still delivered them so well. I was really, really impressed with her, and I was happy that she was able to get some flowers by ending up in the top and getting some positive critiques from the judges, especially after the streak that she had been on of not exactly performing up to par with what we had expected from her.
And you know what? I kind of felt a little... and again, oh my God, Sam's people are going to be so on my ass for this. But I felt a little vindicated because, like, we've been talking all season long about, like, you know, her aesthetic of, like, this Southern white woman, you know, and that last little joke at the end from Lana, I was like, oh, so it's not just us, like,
yeah.
Well, so I thought that was genius.
Right. So the line was for Lana said, "This queen owns the stage, much like her family owned my ancestors." And I dropped everything in that moment. I could not believe it. I will say, Sam, so quick-witted, because her first reply to Lana was, "My longtime family friend." She leaned into it. Like, holy shit, that's so funny. That's so clever. That exchange between the two of them just warmed my little heart.
And ballsy, so too. I think a more white guilty queen would have just avoided it completely. And she said, nope, we're going to keep it going.
Yes.
Yeah, we're leaning into the humor. And that's so smart. It's so, I couldn't get over that interaction. That was maybe my singular favorite moment of the whole roast. Like those two interactions combined. So good. Well, let's move on and let's talk about Sam Starr. So Sam also ends up in the top along with Lana. And Sam, in addition to, you know, obviously the interaction with Lana, also has a number of other really funny jokes. The burger finger, butthole finger kind of joke. I thought that was pretty funny. Candy is so ugly. She gets asked out on dares, not dates. That whole setup punchline I thought was also really amusing. But Aman, what did you think of Sam?
Yeah, I thought that she was good too. I thought that her and Lana were perfect, like, transition pieces, as you can say. I think they both sort of had like similar cadences, really just kept the ball rolling. Bless your heart, disease is so funny. Like, that's how you do fat jokes, right? Like, you don't necessarily make it all about like, oh, they're so fucking big. You make it about like what being big does to you and make it funny. Like, that's a good fat joke. And then this look again. I don't understand what's going on with these short shorts. And these shorts aren't even that damn short. Like, those
I I hate the shorts so much. Like, I don't know why. They just look like granny panty kind of style short. Like, I want them way higher, especially because if you watch like lingerie football, like that's what this was giving me, was kind of lingerie football inspired. It's way skimpier. I love the hair though. I absolutely love the hair with this look.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the hair.
Really?
I'm all for the anal bead hair.
She looks like a video game like creature from the hairline up, and then the rest is supermodel football thing. Again, she loves the patriarchy. If it's anything that men are obsessed with, she will dress in it. Absolutely, 100%. It's just I want to see what Sam's idea of femininity is. And I just don't think I've seen other people's influences more than anything. Yeah. Also, weird thing, didn't she just talk about a couple episodes ago? She was like, I was on the football team in high school, yada yada yada. But then during this runway, she goes, I was always jealous of guys on the football team. So I'm like, which is it, girl? Were you on it or were you not?
I don't actually remember.
I remember hearing that. I mean, like, no, you just bragged about being on a football team. Why are you jealous of them? You were the football player.
Not her having her own little plastique moment.
And yeah, no, I loved all 3 jokes they showed of hers. However, they showed 3 jokes.
Yeah, that was interesting to me.
I'm like, they showed so many others for other people. So I'm like, I was confused that I wasn't confused she was in the top. I thought she did good. And there was another joke she had in the workshop that was quite good that I can't remember. But it was just strange that they only showed those jokes. And then we're like, you were amazing. I'm like, what else was amazing? I wanted to see those things. But
yeah, I wonder if it was just like a timing thing and they just wanted to get across, she does a good job, we're going to place her high, but we needed to make more time to show the Ariete versus Jules of it all. Because they also didn't really show a lot of Anya's jokes either. I think she also got like 3 in, and then they just went straight to Ariete and to Jules, and that was like the bulk of it. And then by the time all of that's said and done, and then they have to show how Lydia does so well. So it's like, if they got to shorten down some people, it's going to be the ones that are either safe or high safe. So, I wanted to see more as well, but I think what they did show was, enough for me to believe that she did a good job.
Not to continue to perpetuate the objectification of women, but this is what I wanted. Okay, this is the skimpiness I want. Like, and then it also really emphasizes the shorts. You know what I mean? So this is a lingerie football still for those of you who are listening to the audio. But yeah, that's kind of what that's more the angle that I was hoping for, and that's why the shorts don't really like necessarily stand out to me. But yeah, it's fine. Okay, she ended up on the top. Good for her. What are we to complain?
Ooh. I think I would have loved the hair more if there was like a helmet dangling from the back of it. I don't know. I was like, where's your headgear?
Ooh, yeah. Or like the helmet kind of perched on top and then the hair coming out of it, especially because she has that long sort of cone that like that's where the helmet maybe could have gone.
It's just a weird choice. It's very technically impressive. I will say that, but odd for this.
Yeah. Let's talk about the ultimate winner of the week, Butthole. So, I was so impressed with Lydia. I just really, especially coming out the gate with, now that Corey's gone, I need a new bald black man. Joke to Rue. It was so good, Sugar. I really appreciated her.
Yes. I love that she didn't do too much. She just said her jokes correctly, carried that. I think deadpan, if you can do it right, works really well in a roast. I'm sorry to be the one to talk about it first, but the fan joke, I had to pause my TV. I was very high watching this and was cracking up for a good 5 minutes by myself because I just kept thinking about it. It's just dumb. It's not overthinking it. And I don't think Lydia overthought any of these jokes. There was none of them were these like weirdly long worded anythings. No, just you're on Drag Race. You're not racing anyone. Classic. Easy, simple, move on. Loved it. I was so happy for her. And it just very much felt like winner the entire roast.
Yeah. So just the delivery was perfect. It was quick. Also a little self-deprecation in there with the whole her jizz is what I'm like, oh my god. Like I knew she was gonna win. The minute you start hearing RuPaul do the like I was like, all right, well, there you go.
The cackle.
And these felt earned. I will say these felt earned because sometimes she does it, and I'm like, wasn't that good? Rue, you can relax.
Yeah, she ate it up. She came for the guest judge like that. Like you got to have a little bit of. You gotta have balls. You gotta have a little shock factor there. I remember I like Sam's face when she came. What was I forget the guest judge's name.
Whitney Cummings.
Sam's face when she called her boring and looked over at her. She was like complete shock. So I guess she didn't see that one coming. So it was just there was a lot of just surprise and just she came for the girls. She really came to eat it up. And I love the fact that when it was time for Susie to go up, she was like, I was expecting to have to lift the energy, and now I'm kind of scared now. So, but the look, okay, I like this. I agree with RuPaul. I get it, and if you don't get it, you just don't get it. But I get it. It's kind of giving me like this vascular muscle, flesh, blood, Attack on Titan type deal. Mm-hmm. It's still a little hangy. Don't get me wrong, it's still a little hangy, but it's a good kind of hangy this time. And I mean, the shorts are kind of giving more panties and not necessarily shorts, but the take on it really saves it for me. And of course, the signature sparkly butthole is just the cherry on top of it all, or the rosebud on top, if you will. And just
I think that she had said that the shorts were made out of tulle, maybe. I think I wanted just a little slightly more contrast because you can kind of see through them, which maybe it was intentional, but I wanted them to just pop a little bit more. That would really be my main critique for the look. Otherwise, I think it's weird, it's unique, it's creative. And also, I mean, we've talked about this already. It's not like the shorts have really been the star of the show for anybody's look per se. So then you're kind of all... They're all on the same playing field. Maybe Anya, right? Where her shorts are literally the star of the look. But
I would argue Anya's probably, is the most on theme for the runway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because even we'll look at Susie's and Lexi's. I think neither of them really. It's not like you look at them and you think, shorts! So for Lydia, I'm not going to necessarily have that as a knock against her because it's a knock against everybody almost.
Right.
Can I also say I hate the black fishnet and the black pump. It just feels so strange and out of place, and I feel like it's just one of those things where a girl just forgets to think about their feet, and it's like you can't forget and then put that on. At least a red pump, at least a nude pump. I don't know. It just feels like a businesswoman, not secretary, but like a businesswoman from the ankle down for some reason.
Yeah, the tights especially too, for some reason, really just like, but why though?
But outside of that, I do love this look. I love the little frill coming off the glove. I like it's just fun texture play. And of her headpieces, this is a fun headpiece. Lydia's not going to go out without a headpiece. That's for sure.
She's not. She's not. She saved a lot of money on them damn wigs. I'll tell you that much. And I like the the presentation of it all as she's walking out and she's endlessly pulling the fabric out of her arms to really give that illusion of like blood and ligaments and muscle just dripping off of her body. I thought it was fun.
Let's talk about our next queen, which, according to Lydia, a reincarnated Edith Piaf trapped in a 24-year-old twink's body, which is such a niche joke, but so funny to me. Susie Toot, who is the other of Anya and Susie were the two that were considered to be safe, which is actually really interesting because, you know, they're kind of the two that I think maybe would consider themselves to excel in a challenge like this. And, I mean, I would say from Susie, it was a similar edit a little bit to Sam. I felt like that we didn't get a ton of jokes for her, Aman.
Yeah. Again, sort of scooting it along, but I thought she did a good job. I could have used a bit more like levels for her. I felt like a lot of them, and I guess I could make the same critique for Lydia as well. It did feel like it was like, this is how I'm going to say the joke, and this is the punchline of that joke. The next joke. this is how I will say the joke. It was just very much that, which can be funny sometimes. But I felt like if you would just inject a little bit more personality into more of these jokes, I feel like you could have been more of a contender for the winning position. I thought that she did a good job. I love the closing joke with RuPaul and beating a dead horse. Even job description, like punch. It was great.
The beating a dead horse, honestly, I thought could have put her in the top alone. It was just such a good joke. We'll say, could not stand her hair in that roast. That hair bothered me so much. The little there's some very Dr. Seuss something about it.
Giving Pidgeotto.
Not Pidgeotto. This is the only context Mistress would cut sugar out of her diet. Loved that joke. That was funny. But I will agree, there was a sort of God, that wig.
Just to trigger you. Look at it.
If you're just listening, we're looking at the atrocious wig. It's clearly just two orange wigs stacked on each other, but different colors.
Yeah, where you can see it very clearly, just pooped right on top. Yeah.
I do like it with this dress, I guess, but that's not saying much. And then her runway, I didn't like it. I'm like, this was too cerebral, Susie. No, I didn't get why it said fruity on your butt. That just felt strange. Was it like a comment on like the juicy couture sort of like fashion term?
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
That's what I thought as well. Yeah,
this was like, then make it pink and make it a pink brocade. Then I would think it would be a better reference as opposed to this navy blue for me.
Yeah.
But was it like supposed to be if Juicy Couture had existed in the 1500s or whatever? Like, is that the reference issue? Was that
I think it is. I just wanted it in the Juicy Couture classic color scheme to make it that much more obvious. And I think that would have been more fun for the judges too. It just felt like a strange reference for what everything else was going on had.
Yeah, because I didn't quite get that. Like, I think then you have to make, so this look, instead of the purple, you have to do it in the pink. Like, you have to make this more velour tracksuit style. Like, you have to merge the two a little bit more instead of just having the one tiny nod. And I don't know why, but while I was watching her walk the runway, there was something about the white tights with the white pumps that I was just like, it's so much, it just feels like two separate... It's like two separate things. I almost felt like her top half was totally separate from her bottom half. Just these little white sticks walking her down the runway. I don't know why. I don't know what I would have changed. I don't know. Maybe it actually does work if I see it in a different color shoe. Like, let's say she throws on purple pumps. I'm like, no, I hate it. Put on white pumps. So I don't have like a specific fix for that, but that was all I could think as she was walking the runway.
I mean, I liked it. It's beautifully made. I love the texture, like juxtapositions, like on the front part, with the well, I guess that's like tulle or something going in and out of the suede. But yeah, I agree with you, Liana. I feel like it definitely needs more of a merging of like what Juicy Couture looks like now, with this sort of 15th century inspired look. Because I feel like it's just 15th century with fruity on the back, right? So, yeah, but it's a perfectly fine look. As far as the shorts are concerned, once again, I feel like the queens were just like, fuck it. Like, I don't know. It feels like none of them really wanted to make... I mean, I guess she sort of did because Juicy Couture is known for making the short shorts, but still at the same time, if it's not entirely clear as to what reference you're making, it's just going to come across as like 15th century garb and not short shorts. So
I think if I had gotten this prompt, I would have gone like a Willow Pill season 14 finale approach of just like a giant pair of short shorts is the full garment that goes like all the way out.
Yeah.
Walk in a gigantic pair of cutoffs. Right. That's, I think, my approach. Because it's a very weird category, I will say. And it's also, I think people have said it online already, just evil that they cut Corey King right before this challenge.
Yeah. Oh my God. This would have been her. This was her time.
This was her challenge. At least her boyfriend got the win.
Right. Let's discuss our very last queen, Lexi, who, we had already addressed this, but is really in her head about the whole situation and has been in her head. We've seen multiple times throughout this season. She does end up in the bottom here, Sugar. Do you think that was the correct placement for her?
I think the low third was the exact correct placement.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that she took a roast joke personally and let it affect everything she was about to do is like the exact opposite of what a roast is there for. The fact, I appreciate that the storytelling did tell us, like, Lexi got in her head from a comment Susie did and blamed it on Jules. It's like, no, Jules didn't make your head tell you that. You made your head tell yourself that, Lexi. And I think Lexi had a pretty decent set. I'll be honest. I just think that, yeah, she got thrown by Susie's completely... I'm on an improv team in LA because I'm a loser, and
you're not. I'm so jealous. I want to be so good at. I'm jealous of people like you. Improv is just. It's like one of the hidden talents of the world that I wish that I had.
And we do musical improv. Like, we make up songs on the spot. But one of our team members, and they've been friends for years, one of them has said like a shady joke that was like improvising with you is like trying to like swim upstream, and it was completely based off of everything that was being talked about. It was completely untrue. And then why is it that 2 days later I get a DM from the other person being like, "Do you think that he meant that?" I was like, no, literally not. Literally, that'd be a weird way for him to address it. And so I just don't think that Susie meant you don't have friends. That's such a weird takeaway, Lexi. I feel bad for her because I know that inner saboteur is real strong and it makes you antisocial in a lot of ways. However, buck it up, Buttercup. You're on a TV show. Make it work.
Yeah. I thought, I agree. I thought that her set wasn't that bad. She definitely had some zingers in there. I think that she just really got in her head and she had to keep looking down on her cue cards, and it's like it's hard to do that when you're already flustered, because then you lose your place and then you're just like and then the jokes just lose all of the air that's in them. It's just not it just wasn't a good start. And she tripped on her way getting up there. I was like, oh god, like here we go.
We did.
She could have been like, I just tripped like Arietti on all her words. Like anything is an opportunity to make fun of anybody else but you. You know.
Well, and we did get a repeat a little bit of the Gilbert Godfrey reaction where she gives a joke, the joke doesn't land, she goes, damn. Yeah. She's saying it out loud that the joke didn't work, which ended up working out for her when it came to the Snatch Game, but unfortunately here it did not have the same result. I think that I don't know. I was impressed with some of her jokes. I really like them starting to smell sulfur so I must be in hell. I thought that was fun. And I do think that there's a universe where she maybe could have saved herself from being in the bottom. But I think when I look at the other queens and their performances, I think, unfortunately, Lexi just has to almost end up there by default, because I'm not going to put Susie Tooth there. I'm not going to put Anya there. So I think Lexi, because of some of those guffaws, just ends up in that spot. But I'm happy that she was safe because, ultimately after the bottom three, because... yeah, I don't know. She would have somehow sabotaged herself in the lip sync. That would have been my nervousness. We would have lost Lexi too soon, because Arietti, I think, was the correct boot this week.
Yeah, she was.
There's something about Lexi that reminds me so much energy-wise and like mental health space-wise as Tucker from this last season of Big Brother. They have this very vulnerable, authentic part of themselves that is very unfiltered. They will both just share exactly how they feel in the moment, even if it pisses anybody else off, because they're not going to hold back. And it's something that we saw with Tucker did not help him last in the game. It's because Drag Race is a completely different game. You can't vote people out for those reasons. It's giving yourself an uphill battle. However, the same negatives that Tucker had, it just gives Lexi so much charisma, and it draws you to her the same way you were drawn to him. He is and she is. They are both just very real people who are not producing for a television show. They're over the top, but that's not why they're over the top.
Right.
Yeah, the Tucker comparison's actually really interesting because I think they also have this outward initial confidence that you see them and you're like, oh yeah, they know what they're doing, they know what they're talking about, and then you kind of, as you learn more about them, it's like, oh no, there's actually a lot of self-questioning that's going on here, and a lot more vulnerability that ends up coming out. So yeah, I didn't think about that comparison, but I think that that's quite apt. And in terms of Lexi's performance, in the season, I had initially clocked, I was like, oh my gosh, Lexi's one of our front runners. As the season's gone along, just because we've seen that inner saboteur pop up, you just kind of never know when that's going to happen to her and when she's going to be sabotaged by herself. And so I'm hoping she can see the love and the talent that she has on this season, and then I can see her come back for an All-Stars, for example, and do quite well once she can kind of wrap her head around those kinds of things. But
yeah,
the look, by the way, stunning. She does love to drag things behind her, and I'm happy that
she does.
they called that out, Aman.
She is gonna buy a ticket to a train if it's the last train on earth. Okay, like it's always there. Again, shorts. I don't know about. I mean, is she wearing shorts at all? It just looks like. I mean, is the outfit made from shorts? Like, did she?
I believe so. It's made from short shorts.
Okay, well then, fine. It's I'll give it to her for that. That's fine. It's a wonderful look. But I can't really punish her for not really having shorts be the centerpiece of it in like the way that you would expect, because I don't really feel like any of the queens did. So I think in terms of that, if you're,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're looking at it from that lens, I think between hers and Anya's, I prefer this one for sure. So
she has so many wigs that are banged, go down rainbow ombre blends, and I would look awful in every single one of them. She looks like a freaking 90s supermodel in every single one of them. So truly, she knows how to style herself. I will give her credit on that.
Yeah, sure. She really does pull this off. It's like, this should not work, but it really, really, really does.
She said, "You want drag?" And then it starts just dragging anything behind her.
Exactly.
Really took drag race, literally. Okay, we have gone through all of the queens for the roast challenge, and ultimately we end up with Ariete and Jules in the bottom two. And Aman, I gotta go to you first for this lip sync song.
What's going on? Okay, when stuff like this happens, I get a little suspicious. Okay, because listen, Beyonce is very, very, very protective of her work. Okay, she is very secretive about the shit that she got going on. So when she starts clearing songs, I'm like, it's got to be a business decision. Why do you need the money? Do you know something that we don't know? Like, is she planning something? I'm like, are we about to get hit with like the biggest financial recession of all time that is even going to affect her ass? I'm like, what is going on? But all jokes aside,
Beyonce predicts the recession.
Girl, this is 2 seasons.
That's what that is.
Yeah, like we're talking about recession pop. Like, oh my god, I just can't believe it. Like, this is like her current album too, so it's just crazy to me. She did it last season for Renaissance and African Cowboy Carter. So I'm guessing season, bitch, if you're on season 18, listen to that damn album. Get ready, because one of these songs is gonna appear. So I'm just I was floored by it. I kind of wish that. Because I was talking about this with Matt Lagori, and he was like, I feel like they wasted it. I was like, well, no, I'm glad that they did it with these queens. I was a little afraid of these queens not being able to do the song justice, but Jules, like, really, she gave it to us in this lip sync, and I was so pleased with her, because I'm just still scarred from Telethon, but we don't have to talk about it. But I do agree with what Matt said, that maybe they wasted the timing of this song. Maybe they should have waited for like the finale or something, because for Renaissance, they did it during the premiere. So it's like, get you pumped for the rest of the season. They put this kind of like smack dab in the middle, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But again, the lip sync was great. Like, I feel like Jules really did eat her sister up, and as she should have. As she should have. I didn't know she could move like that. She was so fluid, but like she was like water, just like all over the stage.
Yes. I had complete confidence in Jules. The second there was like let's go, get clapping.
And she kicked her little, what was it? She kicked Ariete's thing off the stage. I was like, oh, okay.
And something about the way she was doing those clappings, it was very like If you're listening, I look like a maniac, but it was just so intentional. I didn't feel like she was just moving to move. It felt like she was moving to Yaya by Beyonce the entire time, as opposed to Arrietty, who was moving to move. It was better than Boogie Wonderland for Arrietty. It was 10 times better than Boogie Wonderland.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
100 times.
That's the thing, right? Is just Jules absolutely nails this. And I loved Susie's description with similar to Aman about the looking like water. It was that she was floating across the stage. Just the way that she was moving was so captivating and so interesting to watch. And she was going to show you she knew every word. That girl was enunciating every single lyric to the song. And Jules in that moment said, there's no way this bitch is sending me home, and just crushed the lip sync. I think this was the correct decision across the board, from the lip sync to the challenge. Just Jules staying absolutely is correct. And I think she's got so much more to give. And I believe it was Anya who said this, something similar in Untucked, which was, the design challenges are done. What else can Arrietty do? So it did feel correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, Arrietty.
I kind of wish that Bianca was on a season with Arrietty now. That would have been fun. Ooh. What do you do successfully? Quickly.
I'm glad that she glued that wig down too, because there was a moment where I was like, is that wig about to come off, Jules? Like, I know it's heavy, but it did its job. It stayed. The wig was a paid actor in this lip sync for sure.
Yeah, really.
Oh my God, I just can't believe they really did the song. I am like, if Beyonce makes an appearance on Drag Race, I will lose.
You're gonna lose it.
My mind. You know what? I'm gonna start doing drag because I need to get on Drag Race because I know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get on Drag Race,
ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stage, a woman.
Thank you. I'm going to do drag for the sole reason of getting to meet Beyonce, and that is it. I don't give a damn. I will go home first. I don't care.
You just get to audition every year and be like, if Beyonce is not a guest judge, do not cast me. I will not come.
Like, I'm going to decline the invitation unless I get confirmation, okay?
The only reason I will go on the show, yeah. Okay, is there anything else? Oh, well, actually, speaking of woman, Sugar wrote some roasts for us, if you're interested in sharing them.
I kind of burned one, so I'll start with him.
Okay.
Yes, Aman. Yes. A dumb man, but a man indeed.
Oh.
He is so dumb that his only drag name he's come up with is a woman.
Yes.
And then Liana, of course. Liana, I love you, and Puya together. When I first saw Puya on the pod, I thought he was gay. So for a while, I thought he had two beards.
So great.
And then a friend pitched this. My friend Eric, who wrote Rob Sesternino's theme song, wrote this joke for you. Liana Boraas, I hope she does not live up to her last name.
I will never bore us, okay?
And then Beth, I know you're not here, but this one's for you. If you want to find Beth, she is on social media at Augusta Wind. Because she blows!
Yay! Classic. That's a good one.
I'm Diabetes. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, what's that thing? It's like, if you loved it, I'm sugar-free. If you hated it, I'm diabetic. Like, classic joke we get. Oh, that's so fun. I love those.
Oh, I have one. I just remembered what I wrote. Rob Sesternino. When you went to the Amazon, Jenna has 1 million. When you went on All Stars, Amber has 1 million. And Rob has a podcast. That's it.
Damn. 1 million hearts, okay?
Tag Rob on this shit now. Bring him to the stage.
Yeah.
I'm going to produce this beef. Sugar Free versus Rob Sesternino. I want to see it happen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just trying to imagine Rob in a roast. Ugh, like him delivering the jokes.
I feel like he did a pretty good job. I feel like
he'd do good. Yeah. I think he'd need help. I needed help.
Yeah, I've been trying to come up with a roast, and I can't think of any jokes right now. I'm spent.
This is why you need to join that improv group, Aman.
Yeah, I really should. I should. Yeah. I talk a lot about wanting to be better, and I don't do anything to get better. So,
hey, one step at a time. Okay, so next week we are going to have the queens an acting challenge, I think. Improv-y acting. I'm not sure if they're getting a script or not, but it's Ross Matthews versus the Ducks. Sam Smith is going to be there as the guest judge. I saw a little bit of Cheyenne Jackson in there helping them with the acting. So I'm not sure what next week's going to entail. Exactly. Is there anything else from this episode that either of you would like to discuss?
I mean, there was a decent amount of drama on Untucked. We don't have to get into all of it, but I mean, Anya and Susie go backstage safe, and they just start shredding every other. And they're not like reading them for bad reasons. I like to call it constructive shitticism. It's when you're talking shit and also giving constructive criticism. And they were just psychoanalyzing the girls. It was great.
I did not get a chance to watch what's it called? Untucked, but I definitely want to go back and watch it now. I didn't get to watch last ones either. Did Sam Star and Lana fake a fight or something in Untucked? Because I
wasn't told to.
So the bar that I go to, which is annoying, as I've said, they play the episode, but then afterwards, you know, the local queens will perform, so we don't get to watch Untucked. But sometimes they keep the TV running, which you just can't hear anything. And so I'm looking at Sam and Lana, and they're like going back and forth. I was like, what are they fighting about? They're safe. Like, what happened? And then I look like when the rest of the queens came in, Lana and Sam started smiling and laughing. So I was like, did they fake a fight? So I have to go back and watch that one. I've missed the past two, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember. I've watched it, and it apparently did not stick into my brain at all whatsoever. I'm like, did I take notes on this?
I feel like the two iconic Untucked episodes have been centered around who? Arietti getting eliminated.
She does. Oh my gosh, that's the thing, and maybe that's part of the reason why she did end up lasting so long. I mean, don't get me wrong, no one can clock her looks or her design challenges. Like, she just absolutely excels there. She does
everything else though.
Everything else. Amazed she's still here.
In the Rusical, she was in the Before Dorothy trio, and she vocally carried that trio. I want to give her a little bit of credit there. She was the high note in that. And carried it great.
For sure.
That's it.
Well, I guess last thing on Arietti, Beth and I have been tracking the you are and will always will be. But Arietti RuPaul just said, everybody get ready for Arietti. So again, trying to decide if I think that that's a roast or not. It's really like a positive. I don't know. But I did like,
she's coming.
Well, when Arietti was doing her exit line, the Whitney Cummings making the joke about, oh, now she decides to be funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was really great. That was good. A nice
Whitney was cute all episode, actually. We didn't really talk about it, but I feel like she's like weirdly outdated in terms of my pop culture references. I feel like she was like an early 2010s comedian, but like, no, I loved what she said all episode. I was like, wow, I like Whitney Cummings.
Yeah, she was a good one. They should bring her back.
She's so beautiful too. It's like, how can you be beautiful and funny? It's not fair. God gave you everything.
I need Kristen Johnson to come back though. More than any other person, I need Kristen Johnson to come back and just to decimate them.
I would love that. Yes, harsher.
Are we gonna get another what's his face?
LaRoche?
Yeah. But I guess if all of the design challenges are done.
Yeah, well, because LaRoche is joining the judging panel as a more permanent member, correct? And similar to kind of T.S. Madison.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that was for this season. I don't know why. That might have been. I might have made that up in my brain if that was for this season or next season. But
it was just strange because they didn't mention him as a special guest judge at all for his one episode. He just was there.
Okay. Okay, then maybe he'll be back. I didn't remember seeing him in the preview for next week, but who knows?
Yeah. Maybe we're not done with the design challenges. Maybe there's one more.
Please no. I don't want to see another design challenge. We get it. It's been 3 so far. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Almost up. Season 3 had 4. That's the most we've ever had.
Yeah, so let's not break that record or match it. I'm okay with that. I mean, because really, we don't have that many queens left, right? I mean, we're down to 7, so we're starting to round the bend on the end of the season. So
down to the wire, baby.
It's getting tight.
Who do we think is winning at this point? We're halfway.
I still want to bet on Anya. Just when I think about who Rue is going to feel comfortable giving the crown to, I just think they have such a connection that I really, my gut is telling me Anya. But what about you?
Anya is like my top pick in terms of like my gut feeling. And then I would actually say that Lexi is a second one, just because her narrative has been so strong in every episode, including like her 5 or 6 episode safe streak. So it just feels like those two have the strongest narratives, and that's why I would pick them.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Aman.
Really want Jules to win. I've become such a big fan of hers, and I really do feel like she was robbed for the Rusical. I think that they stole that win from her, and she got that win last week. That would have been the perfect momentum for her to be a contender, and I think that she still is. But right now, you have 3 queens that have 2 wins: Anya, Susie, and Sam. I don't see Sam winning this season, so I feel like if she can get one more win in there, she can really like up her profile. But I just don't know if it'll happen. So we'll see.
I'm happy you brought up Sam, because Sam's a really interesting one to me, because I see how much content Sam is getting, and I'm seeing how much praise Sam is getting. And like, obviously she's crushing it on this season. Like, you can't deny that. When I think about winner, whether or not, like, can I see Rue putting the crown on Sam? I feel like Sam is going to be, and similar to Trinity, right? Like, excel, do really well, and then come back and win an All-Stars. Like, that's just the vision I have for Sam. And I do think it could come down between Sam and Anya as maybe like the top 2. I think that's definitely a universe I could picture.
Well, we have all discredited Susie too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't see Susie winning. I'm sorry. I
don't anymore. No, I don't. The narrative has been more about how other people feel about Susie than anything for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a lot of moments where it's, Susie's going to excel at this, and then Susie doesn't excel at this. And then I'm like, okay, so that happened with Snatch Game, that happened here. I'm just, what am I supposed to think about her? We'll see next week. I think that's going to be a perfect example, especially because it is acting, right? And I think that's what Susie is. That really is her thing. And whether or not she can pull out another win next week will be very curious to know.
Lana's got to get up in here, or else go home, girl. Like, you're the only one. You're the only one now without a win. Even Ariadne had a win, and she went home. Like, you have nothing. Come on, like you gotta get it in there, sis. Get it in there.
I could see Lana taking it, maybe if she carries the confidence of this top placement.
The crown. I'm sorry.
Not the next challenge, and only the next challenge.
I was like, she's taking something.
She's taking her time up.
Oh, gosh. All right. Any other remaining thoughts about this episode, the season in general? Drag Race is a concept.
Drag Race is a concept. That's a different pod.
Let's get really hypothetical about it.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I think we got through everything. I feel so much better after discussing this and going through the chaos from this episode. Next week, I'm sure it's going to be a banger as we go down to our final 6, assuming it's elimination episode.
Yeah.
Sugar Free, thank you for coming on as a guest. This is absolutely wonderful to get your perspective on everything. You are welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Yes. I hope to be cast on a TV show at some point, so I'm more notable, and that'll be fun.
And then we'll be like, bitch, we knew her first. She's ours.
I know. And I'll go home first.
No.
Hey, first boot is remembered so much more than second boot, right? So you always, if you're going to be an early boot, be a first boot.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Is there anything you want to plug, social media or otherwise?
I mean, at sugarfree_queen on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. Besides that, just follow. Yeah, no one's liked the gorgeous Survivor dress I just tweeted. So go find that and like it. It's very pretty. That's all I'm saying.
I think Matt did tell me about that, actually. He was like, oh, it looks so good. I gotta find it.
Well, he didn't like it. I'm glad it was seen, though. I'm glad it was seen.
All I want is just to be seen. And Aman, what about you? Anything you want to plug?
Oh, the thing about dress. It looks so good. I have my podcast with Matt Lagori, the Diary Room, where we have been parsing down all of these Big Brother players, trying to determine the best one of all time. 6 players go into one, episode 3 come out. It has been a great time thus far. You can check us out over there. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, wherever you can get your podcasts.
Perfect. And you can find me on social media, sort of, at Lianaism on Blue Sky. You can catch me doing Survivor coverage. So Mike and I just recorded the B&B for episode 2, which was also a very wild boot episode. So check that out. And then Puya and I are continuing on with the Puya and Liana Lounge. So you can see more of his beard and his other beard over on the Puya and Liana Lounge, puyaandliana.com for everything for that. And that really does it. You can leave your star ratings and reviews for us on iTunes if you are so inclined. Thank you to the whole RHAP team for all of their help behind the scenes, getting this podcast out into your ears and eyes. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.